So, I didn't shoot an intro or anything to my wonderful foray into YouTube land. So, I'm going to do it here amongst my sleeping puppers. You know, dogs are always good for the algorithm, right? Sleepers. So, yeah. This is my video. Instructional, maybe? I don't know what it is yet. But it'll be on the internet, and we'll see what happens. Again, thank you to my beautiful girlfriend for giving me the idea. Well, she really shoved me in this direction, so I can't thank her enough. Alright, enjoy. Okay, so at the behest of my girlfriend, I'm going to record myself placing an EGR valve on my 2011 Crown Vic. And my neighbor's going to think I'm crazy because I'm talking to myself. What do you think? Anyway, first, there's the EGR valve here. We unplug all the things. Anything that might be in the way, like this vacuum line here. Just gotta push down that little guy there and pull it. This one's similar, except you gotta push that to the side and pull it. Yeah, sure that's not leaking. So what else do we need? Need to remove this bracket here, which I don't know how many power tools I actually have on me, so we'll see what I can get done with a 1/4" drive set. Let's see what we got here. This is the mythical 10mm. It is the mythical 10mm. And yeah, I know where mine is. I mean, for now. Check back later. You in shot? Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how much this is going to be the back of my head, so I'll try my best not to ruin it for you. Remember, make sure you use the cheapest tools you can find, so half the time you're battling your tools. Now I'll make sure to lose these bolts immediately. Where's your friend? There it is. Now, spoiler alert, I have been in here a couple months ago, getting an insufficient flow on the code for the EGR. So I pulled it apart and cleaned it. And the gasket from the factory, the hole for the exhaust pipe is actually smaller than the pipe itself. I'm sure that's intentional, but I went ahead and drilled it out just to cover my bases. I used my buddy's scan tool and actuated the EGR valve, and it opened to 30%, so I know it's actually opening. But for some reason the car is not reading that it's opening, and there's a sensor, which usually is separate and cheap, but in this car, it's this guy right here. Meaning you have to replace the whole EGR valve, and guess what isn't cheap? That sucker. So in keeping with the theme, I went with the cheapest I could find from AutoZone. You know, lifetime warranty, so I'm sure I'll be testing that out soon. So here's the guy I'm talking about. You know, no brand name, so you know it's fresh off the boat from China. That's the aperture that lets the exhaust into the intake. And that's the hole in the gasket. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. Okay, step 2, 3, I don't know. I wasn't counting, were you? The next step is to take this off, the exhaust that goes from the manifold to the inlet of the EGR valve. And as you can see, my wrench is not big enough. I heard this called Saskatchewan nut lathe. It's still not big enough. God damn it. Alright. It's a Saskatchewan socket set, not nut lathe. It was Swedish nut lathe, something like that. From a different guy. AVE, good channel, you should watch them. Now, I said I cleaned this, so this has been off, so hopefully it's not rusted tight. Okay, that did her. You guys 10s too? Alright, multiple 10s. Hooray for modern manufacturing. Ow. This one. Oh, okay. One was definitely tighter than the other. Yeah, that was definitely the last guy's fault. It wasn't me or anybody, for sure. I should unplug the vacuum lines here. I mean, as if overcoming static friction on ancient rubber isn't hard enough, detach both nipples to make it twice as hard. Okay. That's out of the way, and we continue. Still recording? I think so. Like hell not to drop these into the inlet manifold, because I only want to do that 3 times per job. Okay, and there you go. The old guy still works, but again, you can't just buy the sensor, so I guess it doesn't work. Okay, let's install the best that our communist friends could manufacture. Pretty sure it's made in China. I mean, somewhere in the neighborhood. Now this is where power tools would come in, which I have, but I'm lazy. Now, these are being threaded into aluminum. So like, I know it's a steel gasket, you want to put a little bit of oomph onto it, but not too much oomph. I have a habit of pulling threads out of stuff. Using a 1/4 inch set should minimize that, but I'm a bit of a gorilla. Now my tools are kind of shitty, but apparently it's a 1 1/8 inch. This 1 inch is too small. And yeah, it's a flare wrench. Don't leave comments. I know people call it a line wrench too. I used to call it a line wrench. It's like I taught by an old timer who called it a flare wrench, and that knowledge left my head. Okay, now we put the heat shield back on. And good luck. I'm trying to remember how that went back on there. I think it was something like that. It's not really a heat shield. I don't know what it is. Ford likes putting these weird brackets on things to protect certain parts of the motor. Back there's like a shield that covers the back of the fuel rail. Supposedly to keep you from getting sprayed in the face with flaming fuel in a head-on collision. I mean, who am I to argue with our engineers? I also got this bracket here. I don't know why. Protect the coolant bottle if the belt flies off, probably. I don't know how much of this was in the standard Crown Vic. This is an ex-police car. You know, quote the Blues Brothers, cop motor, cop shocks, all that stuff. Even though it's really just a standard Crown Vic with a few extra heavier duty thingamabobs. I mean, this one doesn't even have the blue coolant hoses. And they discontinued through the dealer because I actually wanted the blue coolant hoses. They're silicone, supposedly lifetime. Don't overdo those screws either, because that bracket screws into the plastic intake manifold. That, if you're lucky, would just disintegrate on its own. It doesn't need your help. Now we gotta plug everything back in. Did I miss anything? I mean, I'm pretty good at leaving stuff out, so if you see it, you know, leave a comment and all that bullshit. Ah, I heard you guys, I heard you. There it is. Eh, see? See what likes do? Leave more. Installed. So, chasing codes. Another one I have is bank 1 and 2 both stuck lean. You know, I did the whole spray the carb cleaner trick. I didn't see any intake leaks or any leaking hoses up here. Upstream O2 sensor response is a little sluggish. So if the ground wasn't covered in snow, I'd be doing those today. But in an effort to maybe knock some things off the list, I'm not too happy with how this mass airflow sensor is sitting. I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but you know, it's easy enough to replace as long as you have a couple of Torx bits. And buy brand names mass airflow sensors, or even if you're desperate to remanufacture ones through Cardone. The Chinese ones, these have a 60% failure rate. It was in the parts business, I know. Regardless of brand, 60% failure rate, and that's if you're lucky. Okay, first things first, I'm not going to try and angle myself under that way, deal with the Torx bits. So I'm going to take this sucker off here. And apologize if I'm hacking and coughing in the microphone, but you know, it's January. Well, pretty typical fashion. The connector's broken. I guess do what you gotta do. Come on, bitch. Let's just undo it from up here. And knock you around. Here are your Torx we're looking for. Come on, focus here. Yeah. A couple of Torquey boys. Usually they give you new ones, but don't count on it. So replace them carefully, don't lose them. Okay, for those interested, it is a T20. Let's see. Gasket looks a little Shingada right there. So this might be the source of my pirate air. Who knows? It is not original though, and it's not a Ford part. So whatever precinct had this kind of cheaped out. So we're going with Hitachi. I've had good luck with them in the past. They are an OE supplier for a lot of Japanese brands. And right off the bat, you can tell quality difference. I mean, a metal plate is some sort of heat sink, I'm sure. Or just hard quality casing. But this one is plastic. And that pot right there is electronics. So, yeah, you know what? Metal's a heat sink. You want metal. Okay. And this one did not seem to come with the screws. So I'm lucky I didn't drop them. Well, yet. You know. Trying to do this through the camera and it's trippy. Okay. And now we give it the old reverse on this thing and we put it in. Okay, one thing to point out is it does have a direction of flow. And this one luckily has it written on there. That's the air filter. Flows that way. The old one, yeah, I just copied how it came out to put it in before I even noticed it said flow direction. But this one does not. But it was installed correctly, judging by the new one. And now we wrestle this back into place. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the way Ford does things for the most part. I guess this makes sense. Fewer moving parts. You got a lot of fleet accounts you want to be easily maintenance and all that, but like, I've seen a lot of these with these little plastic doodads in here broken off. Or not lined up. And if you don't line them up, you get unfiltered air, which is bad for the mass airflow sensor. Alright, it's seated. Put our clamps back on, which are like brittle as corn chips. But you know what? That's no big deal. We put our T20 back on the rail so we don't lose it. And then we tighten the clamps back down. And we got snow a couple days ago. Wasn't much. Then it rained like the bejesus. And there's still snow lying around. It's 40 degrees today. It was 40 yesterday. I don't understand. Half my struggles with this car right now is I'm standing on ice. You ever try turning a wrench in zero gravity? Sure, it's not easy. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this is the Ford. It's my main daily driver. It was going to be in the block for some like up-powered stuff, and you know, life gets in the way and let you not do things like that. Other things I might play with, if I get any views, are this. This is a 1982 Buick Skyhawk. You know, ridiculous name, but it's a good old slice of 80s compact car history. It's actually pretty modern for what it is. Fuel injected, 1.8 overhead cam, super low miles, like 30,000 miles. You know, it's a mess. It was a daily for a while. Put that steering wheel on there. Haven't driven it yet, so we'll see. So it's this guy. He's got transmission issues. It's got a leak and a torque converter that will not let go when I start to hit the brakes. And it's got a couple of codes. We'll investigate that at some point. And over there is my wrecked 2003 Silverado. I don't know. I'm gonna cut it up, mud buggy. Who knows? I will take suggestions. Ta-ta. Okay, check engine light is off. This cheap little scanner, I'll include a screenshot of the code. Only read one code. The scanner in my buddy's shop read the ones I mentioned. Bank 1 and 2 stuck lean. So we'll see what happens. Maybe do a quick road trip, and I'll touch base with you later. One for the engine. That's a stainless works exhaust. All right, signing off.